everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Final 30. I am your host, Zach Romero. Now, The Final 30 is a film experimentation series where I watch the last 30 minutes of a random B movie, then decide if that 30-minute chunk is good enough for me to go back and watch the film from the beginning, or join an Amish commune and pretend that I've never ever heard of them their moving pictures. Now, to returning viewers, you may have noticed that a lot of the films that we draw from here come from the MillCreek Entertainment 100 Greatest Cult Films collection, and we've been going through them in alphabetical order. Well, Daddy's gotten a little bored of that, so for this episode, I've decided to jump to the very end of the collection, pick the final film alphabetically, and jump into that. And that film happens to be 1971's The Young Graduates. So the final 30 minutes begins with a terrible Last House on the Left impression, and I can't help but notice that they picked the absolute least suspenseful music to use for a scene that I'm assuming is supposed to be very suspenseful. At best, it's the kind of music you'd use for like a mild inconvenience. Not for someone who's about to get murder-raped in the woods. Nevertheless, we see Johnny Orange Blouse here get the shit kicked out of him, and Raggedy Ann for some reason. Then Sandy and Mindy look to be next in line for the Sexual Assault Express. And right as this film looks like we're about to get into the video nasty status, girls just decide to not be raped and run off. Now, before you can ask, well, wait a minute, so what ended up happening to the other guy, and where are the girls going now? Don't worry, Johnny Orange Blouse got picked up by a random cop, so that's fine and basically wrote itself out of the picture, and the girls can get back to hitting the road. They basically run the gamut of every white group stereotype of the 70s with little to no consequence, including bikers, cowboys, hippies, and squares. And in between those scenes, there's about 45 pounds of ride-along montage footage set in about a 10-pound bag. Finally, we end with the least rhythmic high school dance of all time, and nothing mattered, and our blonde starlet wants to fuck the new teacher. The end. So this is basically supposed to be Easy Rider for her? It's just a smattering of uninteresting scenes linked together by two girls driving on a motorcycle. The fact that this film gives equal amount of time and weight to a almost rape scene as they do a quick gotta take a bath in the sink of a gas station just shows you how deep this film tries to be. Which is to say, not at fucking all. But what the? Girls are supposed to bathe in the sink? What? Hey, I want to speak to a manager. On paper, this should be a cautionary tale for any girlies fresh out of high school with crazy big city dreams in their heads. But instead, everything is so low risk that nothing feels like actual danger for the main two characters. Okay, let me describe to you a scene premise from this movie. And then I'm going to show you how this movie completely deflates it. So the two girls are getting away from some scary locals, and their motorcycle runs out of gas. So they pull into this old seedy gas station run by this crusty, disgusting old pervert. Oh, and he'll give them a tank of gas, but it's going to cost him something that money ain't gonna buy. Here's how the movie does it.
Hey, is there any way we can earn a tank of gas? It only takes $1.
I've got a dirty car.
We'll do it for a tank of gas.
Are you out of your fucking...
I've heard of fried chicken delivery business, pizza delivery business, but I've never seen
Hey, mister, you've got a dirty mind.
That I do, ma'am, and it gets me in a heap of trouble.
That is the laziest perversion I've ever seen put on film.
Yeah, I got a real dirty mind. It gets me in all kinds of trouble. It's a real pussy delivery service.
Also, believe it or not, I'm not going to take a swipe at low-hanging fruit here and be like, ooh, the sound is awful. But the ADR is really, really bad in this. I'm aware it's the 70s. I'm aware they were filming outside with no budget. But just all the takes from back in some booth somewhere to fill in the gaps for dialogue are just awful. And the frequency that the girls talk at is super off-putting.
Maybe they'll pay for it. I prefer those motorcycle guys. I would too. Sandy, I've got an idea. Come on.
That's a no from me, dog. This film basically wants to be like Last House on the Left or I Spit on Your Grave, but without the teeth or the grit or the revenge plot at all. This is the least exploitative exploitation film ever made. This movie sucks ass is what I'm trying to say. And I think that just about does it for us here on this episode. So thank you so much for watching The Final 30. I am, of course, your host, Zach Romero, and I'll see you next time.
Love, like shallow waters, never runs deep. Kisses come labeled with the warning that forever may end.
Oh, I got a real dirty mind. I'm gonna make it come.